The Cleveland Browns are trying to sell a BS story that Shedeur Sanders is injured and therefore unable to play in the next game, the next preseason game, after he had that outbreak or that breaking out party where everybody was like, see, Shedeur Sanders is a good quarterback. He looked like a first-round pick out there in the last game, and the hype on the internet went crazy. And because of that, I believe the Cleveland Browns said, we got to slow some of this down. And we look foolish right now. One thing that you're not going to do is make us look foolish. So let's slow this down. Say he's injured. He can't play in the next game, because everybody was saying if he does it in back-to-back games, now we got to look at this situation differently. What is really going on in Cleveland?
The NFL world's buzzing right now with this wild story about Shedeur Sanders, the Cleveland Browns rookie QB, and his, in quote, oblique injury. But why does this whole thing seem a little sus? Is this injury even real, or is it all just some, media thing? Fans doubt this. Pundits are whispering. However, Shedeur just exposed everything.
But if you're injured, let's get you taken care of. Is Shedeur Sanders hurt? Maybe. Is he injured? Hell no, I don't believe it.
Shedeur Sanders, the former Colorado Buff star, is out here trying to make a name for himself in the NFL. Drafted in the 5th round by the Cleveland Browns in 2025, this dude's been turning heads. Last week, he balled out his preseason debut against the Carolina Panthers, throwing for 138 yards, 2 touchdowns, and no picks. Straight up looked like he was ready to climb the depth chart, right? I mean, with Kenny Pickett and Dillon Gabriel dealing with hamstring issues, Shedeur was getting his shot to shine. Fans were hyped, analysts were talking, and it felt like this kid was ready to shake things up in Cleveland. But then, boom, Wednesday, August 13th, 2025 hits, and the Browns dropped the news that Shedeur suffered an oblique injury during a joint practice with the Philadelphia Eagles.
Circus. And people were like, why do you say he's a circus? He's a good player. I didn't say he's not a good player. I didn't say he's a bad player. I said, your starting quarterback has to be the guy. The cameras, the lights, the action, the locker room, everybody wants that guy in the locker room with the mouthpiece in, lining up on Sundays. And if you don't, and you got a guy like Shedeur Sanders, who's in the backup position, 4th on the depth chart, and they're like, we're here to see Shedeur Sanders. Right? The media's in the locker room bypassing all the quarterbacks. They walk right past Kenny Pickett, didn't even know he was even in there. Right? Walk right past Dillon Gabriel, probably didn't even see him, little. Sees Joe Flacco, goes, holy shit, Joe Flacco looks like he should be in the NBA. And then they get ready to, there's Shedeur Sanders. That's the guy I've been wanting to see. No one wants to see a video of you posting anybody else on the internet except for Shedeur Sanders. And so my point is, this injury is pretty significant.
Suddenly, he's sidelined, no team reps, and he's labeled day-to-day. The vibe shifts. People start asking questions. Is this injury legit? Or is there something fishy going on? Pundits are out here saying this might not be as serious as it sounds. And maybe, just maybe, it's all part of some master plan. Let's break it down.
Even though he's not expected to play today, he's still out there warming up in full uniform. Which people are saying, if he's injured, why does he not know he's injured? When I first heard the news of them saying, oh, he's injured and he's hurt, my first instinct was, does Shedeur know that?
I'm telling you what these NFL teams need to do, Unc. They need to bring me in, and I have a plan. I can do everything with a PowerPoint presentation to keep these fellas and stop them from getting hurt. You just got to camp 2 weeks ago. Shedeur, that go for you too, your oblique? I don't know. Where's the goddamn oblique at, Joe?
Hey, look, that's in your throwing motion. I can see how he kind of tweaked that. Can y'all you can't see that, Ocho?
That's a very common injury for a quarterback.
I got something for that. I can have Shedeur back in 2 days. You talk about your oblique hurt? Get you some Vicks Vapor Rub. Rub it on the area where you hurt at, right?
Right.
Get you some candle wax. Light a candle and let it melt a little bit. Take the wax, put the wax on the area. It's gonna sizzle. It's gonna hurt when it first hits you, though.
Please do not attempt this at
right
home.
Up out of there.
That man didn't even know what oblique was at, but he got a whole remedy for it.
But now he got a remedy for it.
I didn't know where it was at, but I know how to cure the area.
But if he's out even more, then it's like, all right, the Rams would be a chance. No chance for the Rams. Do you play Joe? Do you not play Joe because of the injuries? Those are different questions.
Ooh.
But if he doesn't play, then that may very well be it.
Yeah,
That may
that's
very
what,
well be it.
That
Because,
was my thought. I kept thinking, is that all? We're not going to see Shedeur again?
If there's limited reps during training camp, there are no reps during the regular season.
And it makes sense. You're trying to get your guys ready for actual games.
So Dylan Gabriel has to go out, and this is, if you're a Browns fan first, you want Dylan Gabriel to go out and please look good, because I don't understand what you're doing here. If everybody in the world is saying you're bad at what you're doing, what in the world? Well, I mean, people can ask the same thing for us. But if everybody who's reporting is saying that, man, he's looking rough out there, I got to wonder what the hell you're doing on the football team. So I need you to look good. For the Shedeur fans, they are hoping he looks
just going to
terrible.
say. I was just going to do are you sure about
terrible.
that? Because
yes, the people who are listening that are Shedeur first fans who are dropping in from Colorado and Texas and everywhere, they will be watching on Saturday.
He'll be falls over himself.
There will be voodoo dolls, like the whole thing. They will be hoping
like
he's
Indiana
terrible.
Jones and the Temple of Doom.
Guys, I'm not rooting against him, obviously. I want him to do well. We've said it a million times, but I'm telling you guys right now, they're going to want him to do poorly, because that's the only thing that can get Shedeur up the depth chart while being injured.
So here's the deal. According to reports, Shedeur felt some discomfort in his oblique while throwing during warm-ups at the Brown-Eagles joint practice. The Browns were quick to say it was an oblique strain, and he's unlikely to play in their preseason Week 2 game against the Eagles. Coach Kevin Stefanski even said, if you're a right guard, you can play through that. But when it's a quarterback, you need that muscle to throw. So we're going to be smart about it.
If it's a right guard, you can play through that. When it's a quarterback, you kind of need that muscle to throw. So unfortunately, going to put him down for a little bit here. We'll treat it day to day and see how he responds. But want to be smart because he's a thrower, so you can't push it.
You kind of need that muscle to throw. So unfortunately, it's going to put him down for a little bit here. So that's right there. People are going, what do you mean put him down for a little bit? A strain, not a tear, a strain.
Well, that sounds pretty chill and natural, but here's where things get spicy. Shedeur wasn't exactly carted off the field in agony. He stayed out there, chilling on the sidelines, watching the rest of practice. He even had a long chat with Eagles QB Jalen Hurts afterward, looking all cool and relaxed. No grimacing, no ice packs, just vibes. Plus, this isn't the first time that Shedeur has been injured this preseason. Back on August 2nd, he sat out practice with some arm soreness, but was back throwing the next day like it was nothing. So naturally, everyone is raising eyebrows. Is this oblique thing really a big deal, or is it just a convenient excuse for something else?
Per the Browns, Shedeur suffered an oblique strain. He is day-to-day. He will not practice tomorrow and is unlikely to play on Saturday. I just feel bad for him because he has so much momentum.
What Shedeur is going through, in the long run, will help him. But right now, again, not because the Browns are putting him on the sideline, but because his oblique is messed up, he's not going to be available. And that does suck because he has so much momentum and now it's been stagnated.
Now, let's get to the juicy part. Some pundits and fans on X are straight up calling this a plan. They're saying the Browns might have used this injury to manage their crowded QB room without causing a stir. And I hate to say this, but if you think about it, Cleveland's got 5 quarterbacks. Joe Flacco, Kenny Pickett, Dylan Gabriel, Tyler Huntley, and Shedeur, all fighting for a spot. Flacco's the vet, Pickett's got experience, Gabriel's another rookie, and Huntley's the emergency guy. Shedeur, though, he's the wild card, the young gun who just showed out in week 1. If he keeps balling, it's going to be real hard to keep him off the field, or the roster.
If you play sports, you guys are going to understand what I say next. If you played in college or if you played in high school, your coach, especially football, your coach has probably told you at some point or another, there is a difference between being hurt and being injured. Everybody is hurt. But if you're injured, let's get you taken care of. Is Shedeur Sanders hurt? Maybe. Is he injured? Hell no, I don't believe it. So the article says, Sanders, who infamously slid to the 5th round in the draft after initially being projected as a top 5 selection, enjoyed a strong debut in the preseason opener for the Cleveland Browns.
So here's the theory. Maybe the Browns didn't want Shedeur stealing the show in these joint practices or the next game. Why? Could it be to protect their current pecking order? Joe Flacco's been taking most of the first team's reps, and Pickett's still the guy they traded for.
There's no other way to put it, right? But with all that being said, Look, he is the ultimate underdog right now. He's the fourth string quarterback. Now he has an injury. He's not going to be getting those reps in. So say he doesn't play.
If Shedeur goes out there and outshines everyone against a tough Eagles defense, it could spark some serious QB controversy. Fans might start chanting for Shedeur to start, and that's a headache Cleveland doesn't need right now. Plus, with Gabriel and Pickett coming back from their own injuries, the Browns might have wanted to just give them reps instead of letting Shedeur hog the spotlight.
Shedeur suffered an oblique injury early on in throwing drills. What? It looks now like you're probably going to get the start on Saturday.
I have no clue what's going to happen. I'm just right where my feet are, but time will tell.
And check this. Some posts on X are wild with it. One user was like, the NFL did everything to break Shedeur Sanders. No first team reps, throwing to equipment guys. And now this injury? He still showed out. Alright, let's talk about why this injury might not be a big deal. First off, the Browns are calling it a mild strain and saying Shedeur's day-to-day. NFL insider Tom Pelissero even dropped an update saying there's a cautious optimism Shedeur could be back for practice next week and maybe even play in the preseason finale. If Shedeur's out here chatting with Jalen Hurts and looking chill, it's hard to believe he's dealing with anything too crazy. Plus, the timing's a little convenient, don't you think? Right after Stefanski says Shedeur might start again if Pickett and Gabriel aren't ready, he suddenly gets hurt. And he's not practicing, but he's still in full uniform, hanging out on the field. And even doing warm-ups before the game, he was said to be missing. It's almost like the Browns are playing it extra safe. Or maybe they're playing chess with their QB depth chart. So what's Shedeur saying about all this? Well, the dude's keeping it cool as always. After his big preseason debut, he was like, I just do my job when my number's called. No drama, no whining, just straight up confidence. Even with this injury talk, he hasn't been out here complaining or throwing shade. That's the Shedeur way. Let the game talk. And honestly, if this is a ploy, it might have backfired. Fans are rallying behind him even more now, hyping him up as the guy who's being held back but still shining. The injury seems real enough. Oblique strains happen, especially for QBs, but the timing and the way that it's been handled? Yeah. So let's keep our eyes on Cleveland, y'all. The QB battle is about to get even crazier. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Are you buying the injury story, or you think it's all a game? Peace out.